So JPFGO basically just released a single target quick jolter for this next event that's coming up. And I'm not gonna lie, because I've got this information a little bit early, it's a little scuffed, but I'll do my best to interpret the information we have for this new servant. Now, looking at her hits, she looks like she's gonna have pretty fine hits. Like 4 on the 2 quicks is gonna be very good for a quick servant. 2 on the 2 arts is going to be pretty decent, although we don't even have her NP charge attack at the current time. But if she has 2 on the 2 arts, she's probably going to have like 0.5, maybe 0.6% NP gen. I can't expect it to be any less than that. 2 on the 1 buster is 5, and then she also has the very nice, the niche 5 hits on the extra attack. So her hits are poised to be very, very good, especially because she is a quick servant. So the 2 quick cards with 4 hits is very, very solid for her, because she's going to be wanting to quick loop most of the time. Now, her first skill gives her 100% damage against Genji enemies, which those are like all the Japanese servants. So you bring her against Raiko or Kintoki and she's going to obliterate them, because not only does she have type advantage being an Avenger attacking a Berserker, but then she has 100% bonus damage against them for 3 turns, as well as getting a 50% crit damage buff for 3 turns. For those of you guys that don't know, 50% is Waver's crit damage buff, so that gives you a little bit of perspective of how strong it is. It charges her NP gauge by 1, which I'm assuming that's going to be fixed to being a battery. I don't know at the current moment how much that battery is. I do know it's not a battery over time, because looking at the icon that is used, it is the icon that people use for NP batteries, not the one. Doesn't have the little swirly arrow, which is NP over time. So she does have a battery. I'd assume it's at least 20 to 30%. If it's anything higher than that, that's even way, way, way better, because then that makes that puts her on the same level as Shiro Muramasa and what's his name, Voyager, who just recently came out, where they're very solid, a quick and art servant respectively, but they also have a 50% battery, so it gives them way more flexibility. Because I know she's not an AoE servant, but it's still nice to have a single target servant with the battery for a lot of these challenge quests, or for say the middle enemy in any of these farming nodes. So it's really good for that. And then this last bit of her increasing her own critical attack chance by 5% for 3 turns, I have no idea what that's supposed to be. I don't know why that's tacked on there. The last 2 bits, I'm a little afraid that those are just there from her NPC, and she's not actually going to carry these over to her own first skill. So I'm hoping that's not what that means. I'm just really hoping that's just further critical attack damage buff. It was worded a little bit weird here, right? The first 2 bits are okay, yeah, that's a skill, and then the last 2 bits are those seem like NPC skills, but I'm hoping that carries back over, right? But overall, the skill is looking to be very, very good, because at the very least, we're okay, she has special attack modifiers against the Japanese servants. Again, she has crit damage, she'll have some type of battery, and then she'll have some further critical attack chance buff. That's pretty nice. Now, her second skill is a survivability skill that gives her guts and insta-kill resistance. Nothing too special. I mean, one-time guts is, just a one-time guts. And then it is a 50% insta-kill resistance for 3 turns, but not a whole lot of people insta-killing out here these days, so it's not the biggest deal. Her third skill, though, is actually pretty decent, because it's basically protection from arrows, right, with the 2 evasions for 3 turns, but then it's also 20% attack for 3 turns, and then it also gives curse damage to the enemies, which is going to be really nice synergy with someone like Van Gogh or Ashia Doman, who, remember, those people specialize with curse damage. So it's almost like they put out Van Gogh and Ashia Doman just to go with this lady, right? To be oh, quick is going to be this kind of curse-based meta now. So it should work pretty nicely if you personally want to test that out. If you want to go, I mean, that's hell you're walking into, but go ahead and do your quick curse meme, right? I'm not going to stop you. But overall, it is a really decent skill, right? So she has 2 ways to live as well, which is very, very nice. I think she's a very good servant, especially for challenge quests. She has sizable crit damage, she has an attack buff, and unfortunately her NP over here doesn't really give her any additional buffs. It removes an enemy's buff, which activates first, which is really good. That's the Shiro Amakusa effect, where basically nobody can run, nobody can hide from his NP, because he removes all of your buffs. No guts, no invincibility, no dodge, doesn't matter, you're getting hit, It deals damage and inflicts curse damage, and then we don't have the overcharge effect as of this right direct 5th, 2nd, although I would hope it's like quick damage or something, like just another offensive buff to go with her skill. I hope it's not an attack buff, she already has it. We want her to double buff, right? So NP damage, quick resistance down, defense down, a quick buff, any of that stuff would be really good for her. But overall, just from what we have on, like, you know, just the hour 1 of this unit coming out, you know, I want to be out here to cover it, to, you know, let people know, because look, I know that if I waited like 24 hours, there would be people jumping into the banner being like, I gotta summon right now. And then obviously because it's JP, you know, you can't read it, so it's like, well, I mean, I didn't check how good the unit was, so now I summoned for a unit that wasn't necessarily good or that I couldn't use or something along those lines. But this is a servant that if you're still using the quick meta, I would say go ahead and summon for her. Like if you have Scotty and you went for Van Gogh and you went for Ashia Doman, then this is just like the next step in like your quick team, right? This is just the next puzzle piece you gotta grab, because the quick team really is just becoming like this curse oriented team for some weird reason, right? But I don't know why they're doing it, but that's what they're doing, right? So this would be the next piece you pick up if you have at least Van Gogh and Ashia Doman. Or I would even say if you have Van Gogh, because Van Gogh is a bit more important for the curse thing that I would say that Ashia was. But if you have Van Gogh, then I would say you could summon for, you know, edgy Ushi. If you have Ashia, you could probably still make it work, but it's more important to have Van Gogh for curse damage. If you didn't summon for any of those servants, I would just abstain from summoning. I would just hold my quartz back. I mean, we're still at the very beginning of 2021. I mean, it's pretty hype to get edgy Ushi. Everybody likes Ushi. She's cute. She's a dog. You know what I'm saying? But I would just avoid from summoning, because we don't even have Valentine's Day yet. Like, Valentine's Day is coming up in like the next couple of weeks. And like, keep in mind, we got Semi-Ramis for Valentine, and we got Big Titty Goth Librarian Waifu for Valentine's Day last time. So like, we also got MHX Alter on Valentine's Day, I believe, with Saber Wars when that came out. So like, let's just remember that Valentine's Day is usually like a very hype, like hot waifu character, and let's not go balls deep on this banner, because really, like, if like, dude, if your account is like, yeah, I got double Castoria, those are my support casters, like, what are you doing summoning for a quick servant? What are you doing? What the hell are you doing, man? Don't throw your quartz away. Get her on like a lucky bag thing. If you really like the character but you don't have the units to make her run properly, just get her on like a GSSR or something, right? Because she looks really fine, and I'm sure as the day goes on, we'll get more translations for her skills and we'll actually like get a better idea of what she does. But just looking at her on paper, she seems like a quick version of Jolter. I've seen some people say already, like in comments, being like, oh yeah, she's gonna be like better Jolter. It's like, no. Like, you gotta understand that like Jolter has almost like 1,000 more attack over this Ushi. They definitely like went out of their way to be like, oh, hold on a second, like Jolter still has the big unga bunga damage. It's just that this girl has you know, better survivability, has synergy with her team with the whole curse damage thing, and then also has a battery, right? And probably like double crit damage. But let me know if you guys are going to be summoning, because that'll also let me know who of you summoned for Van Gogh. If you did not summon for Van Gogh or Ashia Doman, or you don't have Scotty, and I see you summoning in the comments down below, I'm coming to your house and I'm hitting you with the frying pan, alright? But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.